All right. So starting again, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. As you guys probably already know, we are the Developer Student Club at the University of Arizona. I'm just gonna make sure everybody can hear me. I know some of you are new here, and some of you are asking what this club is about. And in a nutshell, we basically host events. We'll teach you things like how to program Android apps, use Firebase, Flutter, Google Cloud Platform. We've actually hosted a ton of these events before. Most of them are recorded. You can go back and watch them in your own time. This is a place to meet new people. We have a Discord. I'll share that link, or you'll get that link afterwards in the email. But you can meet new people. You can build projects with them, all that kind of stuff. You can build solutions to impact our community, which is the main thing we'll talk about just in a bit. We also collaborate. So if you heard of us from like the Game Dev Club, Women in CS, or Idea Lab, we do collaborate with them. We might put on some events with them in the future. Keep an eye out for those. I also highly recommend you go join these clubs. We're like one big CS family, and that way you can really maximize the content that you're exposed to. Just in case you guys don't already know, for whatever reason, I'm going to just quickly go over how to sorry, let me hide this, how to register with the DSC. So you want to go to dsc.community.dev, and you can see I already have that opened up here. Scroll down. Here you can see some of the events that are coming up. Scroll further down, and here is where you can look up the DSC chapter that you want to join. So University of Arizona, for example, you can see that, you can click that, or we actually have the UC Davis DSC lead here. Abdullah's here, I'll introduce him in a minute. So suppose I went over to his page. Over here, you'd see a big blue join button. You'd click that, and then you'd be a member of the club. You'd get all their newsletters, events, all that good stuff. For every DSC page, you'll also see this, past events, and you have all the events that we've ever hosted or any other club has hosted available to you. You can like click these, watch the event recordings, and so if you miss something, this is a good way to catch up. But I also recommend attending these events live just so you can ask questions, engage with people, that kind of stuff. Back to the presentation. Oh, and by the way, this presentation will be shared with you, so don't worry if you don't note down the links right now. Some of you have been part of this club since last semester when we started. What's new this semester is we have a constitution. The constitution is actually linked here. It's this not very long, but slightly long PDF. Go through it. It's basically mostly boilerplate stuff about being inclusive, being friendly, all that stuff. What we'll teach you, nothing crazy. The one thing I want to point out is we have an elections section, I'm sorry. And so that means we're trying to register with ASUA as like a university affiliated club instead of just Google. And that means that we'll have like a democratic process for electing the next core team and then the next Google lead. And the way that's going to work is we'll tell you guys like 2 months from now that you can send us your applications, and then the current e-board are going to filter those applications to like maybe 1 or 2 candidates per position, after which we'll send those out to like the rest of the members to vote on, and based on that vote, you're going to be chosen as a tech lead or a marketing lead, and so on and so forth. If you apply to be a Google lead, you will go through that process, but you will also have to go through Google's selection process. There are more details about this in the constitution. It's a little bit complicated, not too much, but I recommend reading the elections part of the constitution if you want to learn more about that. And if you have questions, feel free to ask us. I'm not going to go into that in detail right now, though. Right. Today, what I want to really talk about is the solutions challenge. This is really the most exciting part of being a DSC member, is that you get to participate in the solution challenge. And this is something where you sort of build solutions for your local community, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But before that, I want to introduce Abdallah. Abdallah, do you want to come say hi? He's the DSE lead from UC Davis.
Hello, Eddie. It's great seeing you all here today. I'm sorry, the connection is just a little bad. I'm joining in from my phone, and I can't wait to talk more about Solution Challenge. It's definitely one of the best ways in order to showcase your work at DSC.
Sure, 100%. This is something that you guys can put, on your resume, show employers, and really like boost your chances of getting hired. Also, a quick note: we have our LinkedIn's on here, so if you want to like give us a follow or like connect with us there, please do so. We are happy to chat. But without any further ado, let's talk about the solution challenge. The solution challenge is basically a challenge where you build a project or a solution for a problem that your local community is facing. This year, the solution challenge is going to be geared towards the 17 UN sustainable goals. Somebody's going to be dropping a link to those goals in the chat. But some of them are stuff like no poverty, economic growth, life below water, like marine life, education, gender equality. There's all sorts of things. Chances are, if you're participating in this challenge, your solution will fall into one of these categories because they are fairly broad. But we're going to watch this video. It's a short video just to see what the solution challenge is about. Okay, so that was just a short video showcasing, the goals that we're targeting for Solution Challenge this year. We'll talk a little bit more about them, but in essence, these are the topics that you have to solve for as part of the Solution Challenge. I highly recommend you do it. It's like a great thing to show on your resume because it's an actual project that you work on as like, emulating like a real software development team. And so it's definitely something you should at least try. Like you can register and like try a project. With that, we have some tips. So while creating a solution, define your problem really well. The better your problem definition, the better the solution is going to be. It doesn't have to be a super complex problem or anything like that, but solve for a real need that people in your community have. And really make sure that you have one very clear problem statement that falls into one of the sustainable goals, of course, but make sure that problem definition isn't like messy or confusing. Make sure it's like specific, targeted, and a solution should arise much more naturally that way. Once you've identified a problem, really refine that problem statement by like going out into your community and asking questions about it. So ask people, your friends, your teachers, classmates, everybody, what is the problem? Who's dealing with it? Why does it happen? Get a complete picture of the problem, and that's going to lead to a more complete solution. That's honestly the best tip we can give you, because if you don't create solutions without making sure you truly understand the problem, because then the solution might not, be as effective as if you had asked people. So definitely go out, ask people, go talk to local businesses, If you need help connecting with local businesses, you can ask us. We can reach out to them on your behalf. We can do that kind of stuff for you. But remember to ask, and we're there for you. You are going to have to form teams to participate in the solutions challenge. So it's not like your own thing. You can have up to 4 members in a team. We do recommend having all 4 members just because that is the most effective team size. That way, like there's always like one of you is always going to push the others to keep going, and so on and so forth. And you'll have diversity of perspectives without the team getting too big. So you're not required to have 4. The 4 is just the upper limit, but we recommend you make a team of 4 if you're going to participate in this challenge. Also, we recommend electing somebody as the team leader. This team leader is like not there to help, or is, well, they're there to help. They're just not there to like, be a dictator or anything like that. They're more there to ensure or set project milestones, make sure you reach those milestones, make sure you guys are meeting, on a regular basis, all that kind of stuff. It's just a way of keeping you organized and keeping, the organizers more organized by helping them stay in touch with one person in case they're reaching out to you, that kind of stuff. So elect a team leader. It's just as somebody who like keep you on track. Rules. We went over some of these already. So 40 members max. You must be over 18. You must be a member of a DSC at any university. So obviously, if you are a member of this DSC, then you will enter as part of this university. There can be multiple teams from any university, that there's no limit on that. But you have to be a member of a DSC. You can also participate if you're a member of a different university. I know some of you are. And in that case, join the DSC that's closest to you. But keep in mind that if there's no DSC at your college and you're joining the Solutions Challenge through some other university's DSC, it's that university that gets the credit in case the solution like makes it into the top 10. Your team will obviously get credit, but it's also that university that gets credit, not yours. Just in case you're in that situation, that's something to keep in mind. This is the Google Solutions Challenge. You are required to use at least one Google technology. We'll talk more about that in a second, but Google technologies can be, like TensorFlow, Flutter, GCP, Firebase, that kind of stuff. Remember, don't use Google technologies just for the sake of it. Make sure you really need it, because if you use it just for the sake of it, you're gonna, or the judges are gonna not give you those points. This is one of the best parts of this competition. The project can be built during any time in your academic year. And that means like back to like last May, like May 2020. That means if you had like a project that you built for a hackathon, this is a great opportunity to reintroduce that project, make changes to it, take it to the next level. So you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to start right now, start from scratch right now, but you can bring in a project that you've already worked on, already been working on, and take it to that next level. There is a QR code. I'm going to move my windows so you can scan it from your phones, or somebody will be dropping the link to register in the chat. Registration closes early February. I don't have an exact date. So I recommend you sign up now if you're interested, like right now or today or tomorrow. Sign up quickly is what I'm saying, because like it's not a commitment, but sign up quickly and give it a shot anyway. All right, let me see if I can move on to the next slide. Right, there are prizes, and I'm gonna bring back Abdullah to talk more about it. Abdullah?
Thank you, Adi, for introducing me. Hello, can you all hear me well?
Yep, I can hear you.
You're muted. You just muted yourself.
Oh, hello? Yeah, all right. So when it comes to Solution Challenge this year, it is a little more exciting than Solution Challenge last year. And that's because there is a much more prizes than there were before. Also, what happened this year is that all participants do receive Google Participant Digital Profile Badge in addition to an official certificate. That also spans upon everyone that joins the Solution Challenge. The top 50 teams are going to receive a customized mentorship from Google's and experts to take their solutions to the next level. And of course, you can get Google help and experts through different mediums that we're going to talk about later once you sign up for the Solution Challenge. Top 10 finalists are going to receive additional mentorship, swag, and 1-year subscription through Prudasite, in addition of an opportunity to showcase their solutions to Googlers and developers around the world at the demo day that we will be talking around later today. Also, the top 3 winners are going to receive a Chromebook, a private meeting with Google executive, and can you go back? And the feature on Google Developer Blog. And of course, there's much more to it, so make sure to be involved and get into the Solution Challenge. Of course, our timeline is going to be pretty nicely done for this year's event. Last year's event was a little extended because of the events that was happening.
Abdullah, is typing in here. Do you want to talk about the judging criteria before we move on to the timeline?
Yeah, sure. So for the judging criteria, it will be mainly based on 2 different main ideas, which is impact and technology. And you can see over here that impact has much more weight than technology. This is because last year we were also focusing on scalability. So what happens is that with these kind of questions, you'll be able to guide it through what kind of project that you want to do, so that you would be able to score a higher score amongst all submissions. Those questions are always meant to be able to guide you through the process and to make your ideation process a lot more seamless and better to be able to have the highest score. Of course, these are also the points that will be shared with the judges from Google, so that would make things a lot clearer. Going into the timeline, can you go to the next slide?
I think you might be lagging just a little bit because I am on the next slide. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Okay, so I don't see it, but for the timeline this year, what the submission due date is going to be on the March 31st. So first, make sure to join a developer student club that you're in. Or if you do not have a developer student club, then a developer student club closest to your place, make sure to reach out to its lead and let them know that you would like to be joining a solution challenge. Be able to register for the solution challenge using the form that we shared with you before, form a team, and more importantly, focus on an idea that you're trying to solve through that process that we've talked about earlier. Once you have all that done, I believe that you'll be set in stone in order to set up your solution in order to address one of the sustainability development goals, which are the 17 of them that we saw in the video earlier today, and be able to learn and build the front-end interface and also the back-end technology. It is very important at least to have an idea in mind, and then you can start working on the project itself. Of course, when it comes to these kind of projects, there's a lot of ideation process. There's a lot of repetitive processes that would happening as you're testing your solution. So make sure you're always iterating your code coming into the March 31st deadline. We highly, highly recommend that you submit your solution challenge submission by March 30th. And that's mainly because of website traffic and or last minute adjustments that you might need to have. And then in May, you can expect to be announced as one of the top 50s. Best Solution Challenge has been arise, and or top 10 deep mentoringship during the months of May to June. And then later on in the year, as we're moving through July and August, we'll be announcing more winners and be able to celebrate all of them on by late August, basically. And you can all do it. We've had a lot of club members that were able to get honorable mentions. So we believe you could do that too. Moving on back to Adi.
Yep. Thanks for that, Abdallah. I just want to quickly confirm, can you guys see this timeline slide or no?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay, great. Thanks. Just to reiterate what Abdallah said just a little bit, since I don't know if you guys missed the slide or not. Step one is joining the DSC. Form your team, then identify a goal, and then start building a solution. Basically build, iterate, keep going. The difference in solutions challenge this year compared to last year is that, like Abdallah said, if you're selected as one of the top 50 finalists in May, you're going to enter a deep mentorship phase, which will help you take, if your project is in the top 50, those top 50 projects will be mentored to the next level. And then they'll pick the top 10 and top 3 from those people that were mentored. So just keep that in mind. Your target should be getting into the top 50 initially, and then top 10 and top 3 comes later. As well, quickly want to point out that this slide is available. I know we didn't go over the judging criteria in like super high detail, but since the presentation is available, you can come back, and I recommend you come back and look through these. Most of it's about how effectively you implemented your solution. Is there real necessity to you using the technology that you used? What kind of impact it has? All that stuff. We have some of these videos. I'm not going to play all of them now. I'm just going to play the one in the middle because it's like a great video to help you like start brainstorming ideas for the solutions challenge, because it really is something all of us can do. So I'm going to play this video. Let me know if the volume's too loud, but otherwise.
Hi, everyone. The mission of this year's Google Developer Student Club Solution Challenge is to solve for one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals using Google technology. Citing the official United Nations website, these goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. During this video, I will show you how you can research these goals and brainstorm ideas for your Solution Challenge project. So starting with the official UN SDG site, the first thing I suggest you do is click on each of the goals and read the challenges each goal faces. For example, Goal 1, No Poverty. This page will give you a good primer to the challenges we face on our road to no poverty. And down at the bottom of the page, you can take a look at the facts and figures and the breakdown of targets defined for each goal. There's also an infographic you can check out to get a high-level overview of the current state of things as it relates to the specific goal. Go over the rest of the goals to get familiarized with them and see if any ideas come to mind about solutions you can build using technology. If ideas do arise, write them down to brainstorm further later. Another great site that can really help you generate solution ideas is DIAL, which stands for Digital Impact Alliance. We're going to focus on 2 tabs, SDGs and the building blocks, but I urge you to look at the other tabs. They're just as useful for your ideation stage. Okay, so let's look at the SDGs tab and take a look at Goal 2, Zero Hunger. This goal has 8 targets, which help you focus on solving a certain aspect of the goal. For example, Target 1, which summarizes as end hunger by ensuring access by all people to good, healthy food all year round. Okay, so immediately ideas start to spark. Maybe you can build a charity app that either accepts donation-safe healthy food or accepts monetary donations dedicated to providing food. Or maybe you can build a volunteering platform that brings people together to help the community at risk. Brainstorm with your team and see what aspects of these problems you are familiar with, or maybe you have access to communities who are dealing with the challenge. Having personal knowledge of a problem will allow you to design solutions which are far more effective and easier to adopt. Now, let's take a look at Goal 10, Reduced Inequalities. Target 1, achieve and sustain income growth for the bottom 40% of the population at a rate higher than the national average. What a well-defined target. Okay, so now you can start brainstorming again on how you can achieve progress through technology here. Maybe you can build an app or a platform that educates people on financial and saving strategies. Or maybe you can help small businesses grow through education apps or e-commerce and marketing apps that are specific to your community. For example, in my community, the elderly struggle with finding online educational content, and I might consider building an elderly-friendly educational platform. This platform can potentially provide the elderly with equal opportunities at learning new skills and increasing their income. You'll see that going through these web pages will spark many ideas in your mind. Write them down and discuss them with your team. See which idea really strikes a chord with your ability and your belief. You'll be working on this for a while. You want to solve a goal that you are passionate about or that's really close to home. In the next video in the series, I'll be going through a demo case study. I'll pick up an idea and simulate the steps my team and I will take towards a successful demo submission. I hope the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals inspire you to solve for your community in a meaningful way. We can't wait to see all of your demo submissions.
Okay, so that was a great video. And just to reiterate some of the points in that, really focus on, like we already said, defining your problem. The more defined your problem is, the better your solution is going to be. It's just naturally going to be better if you have a very specific problem in mind. So that should be your first and most important goal. Like I said, come back, watch the rest of these videos. I'm not going to play all of them now, but they are all worth watching.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
There we go. Right. We also know that not all of you are familiar with every single Google technology, maybe not even any. That's okay. That's what we're here for. Like I said earlier, once you've registered with our club, you can see all our past events. If you're part of Idea Lab, we are collaborating with them. You can also see all our past events through them and use Idea Lab's resources as well. But there's also code labs in addition to the events that we host. And you can find these code labs. I think somebody can drop a link in the chat. I think somebody did, great. Or you can just like go to Google, type out code labs and attempt these code labs. Code labs are what like real Google engineers use, to train. And so they really are a great resource for taking you from, like the most basic level of a technology to more advanced applications. So don't worry if you don't know Flutter or Kotlin or like, TensorFlow. You can learn, and there are all these resources that are available to you to learn. As well, something I want to point out, you're not limited to only watching, the DSC at the University of Arizona's videos. I highly recommend signing up for more than one DSC. There's a whole bunch around the world and in North America and in Canada, and so sign up for more than one DSC and you can access their events and resources as well. So if we aren't hosting an event on TensorFlow, for example, you can always find a different DSC that is hosting it and use their event to learn about TensorFlow. So pro tip, sign up for multiple DSCs, maximize your learning by giving yourself, the opportunity to get content from that many different sources. There is also the design sprint kit that Google provides. This is basically like a 5-day exercise that helps you go through the process of ideation, where you understand your problem, define it, you sketch it, decide things, prototype, validate. I won't go into detail about this particular thing here. There's a lot, but in the initial stages, I highly recommend you actually use this design sprint kit. It's going to help you, sort of focus and set goals and timelines and those kinds of things. I think there's also the design thinking workshops that are coming up. That's also based around these ideas, where you go into your community, sort of ask for feedback, use it to build your solutions. And that makes the whole process of defining a problem much easier. So use this resource, come back to this presentation afterwards, and actually, go through this exercise if you're taking part in the solutions challenge. If you register for the Solutions Challenge, by the way, you also get access to this platform called Parthian. And that's basically a place where you can ask technical questions about Google products. You can ask for feedback and ideas from mentors, and you can even just ask for technical advice on the process of building a project. So you have access to all these resources that make taking your idea to the next level from idea to implementation much easier. Take advantage of all of them. This is definitely a great resource. So once you sign up, use it. Obviously, we're providing you with resources. One of those is the Google Cloud credits that we offer. So once you register for the Solutions Challenge, make sure your country is eligible for cloud credits. If you're from here, that shouldn't be a problem. So don't worry about it. But if you're not, just double check. But in early February, which is really not too far away, you're going to receive an email. And then that email is going to have instructions with how to redeem your Google Cloud credits. Google Cloud credits usually cost money. If you're part of a DSE, you have plenty of opportunities to get them for free. In case you need it for free and one of these opportunities isn't available, you can always email us, tell us on Discord, and we can try to set something up for you. So this is just a thing. Use the Google Cloud credits if you're using GCP in your solution, which you might be, because it's used for a whole bunch of things like running data, learning machine learning models and stuff in the cloud, or VMs, or hosting your web app, that kind of stuff. That actually does bring us to the end of the slide deck, but I'm going to have a Q&A session right after this, so stick around. We're also doing well for time, so if we're done early and you guys want, we can go back and continue playing some Among Us. But before that, let me go through the FAQs. Can my solution solve a problem outside of the scope of the 17 UN goals that we discussed? And the answer is this year, no. You are limited to these goals. But because they're so broad, chances are, if you have a previous hackathon project that you're bringing in, or you're starting from scratch now, chances are your project will fall into one of those categories. So you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. Can one student or team submit with multiple submissions, or can one person work on multiple solution challenge projects? And the answer is again, no. You can only work on one project. So you can't be part of two projects and both of them are submitting. That is not allowed. It says that again in the terms and conditions when you're signing up. I know nobody reads it, but I recommend reading the terms and conditions. It has some important information. Can I still participate in the Solutions Challenge if there is no DSE at my university? We went over this before. If there is no DSE at your university, you can join the nearest one, participate through them. Just know that if you guys do make it to the top 50 or top 10, the credit comes back to the university, not to your university, which didn't have the DSE. So keep that in mind. Of course, you will get credit as a team, but I mean, aside from that. Finally, given the implications of social distancing, our ability to test if the users was impacted, will the judges consider this? And the answer is yes. They will consider the fact that you can't necessarily meet in person as a team. You might not be able to go out in public and ask people for information or survey them like you would normally. And there might even be internet issues and other things. So these things will be kept in mind. Remember that there is that deep mentorship phase, so your project doesn't have to be completely done by the time you submit it on March 31st or 30th even. But try to do your best anyway. Don't be safe, obviously, but try to do your best and keep in mind that the judges are also being mindful of the limitations that COVID has put on all of us.
We have a question real quick. If you want to take questions.
Yes, we can take questions. Now, I just want to quickly point out before we go to that, these are videos of 2020 Solution Challenge winners. I highly recommend actually coming back and watching these videos. I won't play them now, but there's cool stuff in here, like UC Berkeley's winning project from last year, Corona AI, where they actually use electromagnetic imaging to create an image of the lungs and then used a machine learning model to detect COVID. So super cool stuff that you guys can do because we're giving you all the resources to do it, even if we have no knowledge of any Google technology right now. And again, it's a great thing to put on your resume if you do it. So come back, watch these videos. There's a whole bunch of them. Maybe you'll find some inspiration for your own project. This is some stuff participants said about Google technologies last year. I'm not reading them now. They're mostly about how enjoyable it was, and it's true. They are really fun and easy to use. You can come back and read these on your own time if you want. This is demo day. I think we might have briefly alluded to this before when we were talking about prizes. I believe if you're top 10, you get to actually be in demo day and showcase your project live. This is the one from 2020. You can come back and watch this. I think this video is fairly long, so obviously we're not going to show it now. But watch it, see what kind of projects other people have built, and you might actually be one of them this year. Let's see if I can. Right. Quickly before I do questions, one last thing. We're at the info session stage, but register for the solutions challenge soon. There'll be design days and technical workshops hosted across multiple other DSCs, including our own. So like I said, sign up for more than one DSC, attend them, take advantage of those resources. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And Baha, I believe you had a question.
Yeah, someone in chat asked if teams should worry about the project sustaining itself. For example, if they're using Firebase, should they worry about if the project is going to run out of credits or if it's going to incur any costs for the teams?
So there should be no costs for you. Maybe you're building a really crazy project that you're using a lot of credits for. And if you are running out of credits, let us know and we'll give you those additional credits, or we'll try to give you those additional credits. Don't go ahead and spend money and then ask us to reimburse you for that, because that's not necessarily how it works. Let us know that you need those credits. We'll try to get you those credits as fast as possible.
All right. Someone else asked, given that two projects are the same idea, same execution, is it going to matter if people have a team or not? So for example, if the same project, same execution is made by one person or is made by 4 people, does that factor into the judgment?
That's a good question. And I don't believe it does. The one thing that does, and if you go back to the judging criteria earlier, is you will be judged on your, development process. So like how you ideated, how you iterated on your solution and that kind of stuff. So if you're going solo, I don't know if you lose points for that. That's actually a great question. I can get back to you. Who asked that actually? I can get back to you separately for that.
Oh, it was me.
Sorry. Okay, gotcha. Let me ask. I'll actually make a note of that now, and then I'll get back to you. But remember, but keep in mind that I recommend, forming a team because it will be easier to develop. Like I said, we recommend having all 4 people, but otherwise I'll get back to you. Did we have other questions? As well, I wanted to point out. Oh, did somebody say?
No, I just said no, it doesn't look like it. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to point out that if there's enough interest for the solutions challenge, we can actually raffle away a Google backpack. So if we see enough engagement, on the Discord, that is something that could happen. So go back to, or when you receive the invite for the Discord channel, if you're not already on it, try to engage, participate in the solutions challenge. It's like a great, way to engage with the larger developer community and with Google in general. And if we see enough engagement, we'll actually be willing to raffle away a Google backpack. So keep that in mind. Okay. Last call for questions. You can post them in the chat. You can unmute yourself. Any questions at all? Okay. So it looks like there aren't any questions. Then the last things I want to talk about is, actually, we can probably go ahead and stop the recording after this. But the last thing I want to talk about is that, You will receive those badges for being a member of this club right after maybe an hour or 2 hours from now via email. If you were here and you didn't receive it, message us on Discord, email us, one of those things, and I'll try to get that sorted out for you. We'll just have to like cross-reference, make sure you were in this meeting and that you RSVP'd. But if for some reason the system broke, then we'll just give you that individually. But otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this recording. The recording will be available to you after the Discord links, slides, everything is gonna be available after this session.